Hi everyone, so this worksheet, this video is to help you review the standard AREIA2, which is all about solving simple, rational, and radical equations. Okay, so let's get started. So you see that numbers 1 and 2, they are in rational equations because they are like ratios, like fractions. Numbers 3 and 4 are radical equations because they have a radical. So number 1, n plus 3 over n plus n minus 1 over n equals 1. So right here might look very scary already, but notice how in the fractions we've got common denominators. And the same thing goes even if we have variables, that we can still add the tops of our fractions with fraction addition in this case. So I'm just going to do this. And the reason why I'm putting them in parentheses is so that you kind of notice where I pulled these pieces from. They used to be two separate fractions, but because they had common denominators, I can put them into one fraction. Now, by order of operations, I would do parentheses first, but nothing can be combined within these parentheses, so I can take away my parentheses and combine my like terms across the top. So n plus 3 plus n minus 1 all over n. I kind of added that extra parentheses. And yeah, so I've got two n's, and I've got a positive 3 and a negative 1. So I've really got 2n plus 2 over n. And don't forget to bring down my equals 1. Okay. Now in this case, we have 2n plus 2 over n being divided by n. Remember, that's the same thing as fractions, division and fractions. So to get rid of this n here, to get rid of my fraction, what I can do is multiply the entire equation by n. So the n on this side that multiplies is going to cancel with that n. But this n multiplies with the 1. So 2n plus 2 equals n. I'm going to subtract my n. I've got n plus 2 equals 0, minus 2, and n equals a negative 2. All right. The second one, okay, so looking here, I have 1/3 plus 1 over r, and those don't have common denominators, so I can't combine them like I did the first equation. But I have it equaling to 2 over r. So what I'm going to do is subtract my 1 over r on both sides. That way I have the fractions with r all on one side. 2 minus 1 over r. Okay. I kind of skipped a step. Notice there how these would have become 2 over r minus 1 over r. And because they had common denominators, I just did 2 minus 1, 2 minus 1 over r. And that's really 1/3 equals 1 over r. Now, if you pay very close attention, 1/3 has to equal to 1/3 because there can't be anything else it can equal to. So r must equal 3. If you didn't notice that, don't worry. There's just one more step you'd have to do, is cross multiply and get r equals 3. Same answer, slightly different method, and we are good. Okay. Moving on to our radical equations, we've got 3 equals the square root of 3x plus 6. Now remember when we, for example here, I've got plus 2, and to cancel it out there, I needed to minus 2. I did the opposite, right? Here I had it divided by n, so I multiplied by n. We do the opposite. The opposite of a square root is an exponent. So if I took my 3 equals the square root of 3x plus 6 and raised everything to the second power, that's going to cancel out my square root there. but remember that this second power goes to everything, okay? So 3 squared is 9, and I've got 3x plus 6, okay? So this power didn't exactly go inside of my square root. What it did was cancel the square root. That was its purpose, okay? Then I just minus my 6. 3 equals 3x. Divide by 3, so x must equal 3. I mean, 1. Sorry. 3 divided by 3 is 1. All right. Last one, I've got 5 times the square root of n divided by 3, or n over 3, equals 25. Now I've got a multiplication here, so I'm going to start with dividing my 5 instead of starting with my exponent, because if I started with my exponent, I would also have to square 225, which would give me a very large number. So let's start by dividing everything by 5, and that's going to cancel that 5 there. I've got the square root of n over 3 equals 5. Okay. Now we've got little smaller numbers that are much easier to manipulate. So my square, or my exponent, remember it's going to cancel with the square root, leaving me with just n over 3. But 5 squared is 25. And then n is being divided by 3, so let's multiply everything by 3. This 3 cancels and is equal to whatever 3 times 25 is, which is 75. And that's it. So, recapping, remembering that if we have a square root, we're going to cancel it with an exponent. If we've got fractions, look for common denominators, and also cross multiplication things, okay? Remembering also that fractions is the same thing as division here. So if we have a divide by something or a fraction over something, you just multiply to get rid of that fraction, okay? Hopefully you're ready for your quiz for AREIA 2 if you need to bring that up for your grade.